Very good afternoon and Sawadee. My name is Tang. I'm the country head of Grab in Thailand. Transport has always been a passion of mine. When I graduated with a transport engineering degree. And my first job is actually with Singapore MRT, where I work on the construction and maintenance of the railway track. Even in management consulting and investment banking, I continue to be involved in the transportation sector. So really, transport is really in my heart. I must admit, the presentation today is the first time I'm going to present some of these materials, but I hope you all enjoy it. I'm going to start off with a bit of history. Many thousand years ago, when people travel, they use horse carts, horse caravans. And one of the most important routes, the Silk Road, where culture exchanges, trade is exchanged, as well as technology and arts is integral part of the Silk Road travel. The route takes 15,000 kilometers, and it takes them 2 years to travel the whole route. Imagine saying goodbye to your family and friends and don't come and see them for 2 years. Well, things have changed. Today, using a car, it takes a little over seven days, or almost 100 times faster. And the impact is huge, because now then the exchange of information, exchange of technology, exchange of arts, exchange of culture becomes more and more profound. In 1919, Henry Ford started the assembly line production, and it revolutionized the way cars are produced, vehicles are produced, where Henry Ford's dream is everyone who can afford a car can get one. And Henry Ford, with his Ford T model, really drove the change in the vehicle and the car industry that we see today. But in the last 100 years, in 1919 and in around the 1919 year, a lot of the car companies that you see today started in those years. But really, cars have not changed a lot. You think about it. Yes, cars have gotten faster. You can go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3 seconds nowadays. Cars have gotten more comfortable. But in most part, cars still run on fuel. I'm not saying that being faster and convenient and comfortable is not important, because there's two things that we always work on at Grab. Getting people to the next point quicker, making sure transportation is more convenient and more comfortable. But really, in the last 100 years, we haven't seen a lot of changes in the cars industry. If you ask a fresh graduate today, what they want to do with their money, what they want to buy when they get their first paycheck, 34% of them said they'll save for their retirement. Well, I'm young, I just came out to work. I have a whole lifetime to work, and I can save for the rest of my life. Retirement is not the greatest concern. Only half of them say they are going to start saving to buy a house. But 83% of them say when they come out, the first thing they want to buy is to buy a car. And this is not just something you see in Bangkok or in Thailand, and this is a global phenomena. Every graduate who comes out, the first thing they want to buy is to buy a car. But things have started to change in many cities. In cities like Singapore or New York, a lot of fresh graduates have come out, and they don't think about buying a car anymore, because cars are getting more and more expensive. There are a lot of alternative options for them to travel, more effective and quicker as well. Let's look at Bangkok. There's over 10 million registered vehicles in Bangkok alone. And the road in Bangkok is not able to hold that many cars. Well, my friend from Uber showed a different number, but I think we are almost the same. On average, people spend 70 hours in the traffic a year. And that equates to 6 months in your lifetime that you're stuck in the traffic. But come on, let's be honest. Both you and I know the 70 hours per year is a very small number, because if you travel in Bangkok to and from work, you're going to be stuck in the traffic for at least 2 hours a day. And that's actually 50, 60 hours a month. My friend from Grab actually helped me with this presentation. And we didn't want to make up a number, so we stick to this number. But as I said, I think in reality, the number is much worse. So that 6 months that you're stuck in traffic is probably 4 or 5 years in your lifetime stuck in the traffic. Most cities have begun to build their structures, their buildings higher and higher. You see skyscrapers being built. You see buildings packing more and more people. You see condominiums getting taller and taller. But one thing that didn't change is when people travel, they still have to travel on the 2D plane. When you travel from one place to another place, you still need the space on the flat surface. So what happens? While we are able to pack more and more people in a single building, and if all the people here in that particular building want to drive, you're going to have a big problem with the parking space. On average, there's only 2.5 parking space for 1,000 square feet of office space. If a 1,000 square feet office space, you can easily put 20, 30 people. Imagine if you have to put, everyone drive to work or drive home, you're going to have half of your floor, half of your buildings, nothing but parking space. And I'm going to show some more statistics that probably will not shock you. But for those of you who have bought a car, will know. The first thing you feel by buying a car, you go and test drive, you do a lot of research, you talk to your friend, you talk to your family, and then when you got the first car that comes in front of you, the smell, the comfort that you get from that car, wow, there's a wow feeling. But what happens after 1 month? 95% of the time, your car sits in the parking lot idle. 95% of the time. And some more statistics, 30% of the cars that you see on the road are actually circulating around looking for parking. The cars that you see on the street, most of them are just circling around trying to look for parking. And 12% of the Bangkok traffic actually caused by the traffic. Well, some of these number is actually that number, if you assume that you depreciate your car for 5 to 10 years, this is the amount of cost to people in Bangkok on an annual basis. So what's in it for you when you buy a car? Is it for convenience? Is it for status? That's where Grab comes in. Our formula in Grab is very simple. Each ride shared is one less car on the road. As simple as that. When you're able to share your car, you need one less car. Our rides have shown that, on average, each of our Grab ride has 2.5 passengers. Many cars on the street today, you see, have one driver with no passenger. But our rides typically have 2.5 passengers. Carbon footprint. Last year, we reduced carbon footprint by 4 million kilograms. This is equal to 5,000 houses turn on the light for 1 year. That's the amount of carbon dioxide that we save in a year. Our drivers are also well trained. We are very careful in selecting drivers, and our accident rate is 5 times lower than the national average number. We launched GrabShare in many countries, one of them in Singapore, and we reached 2 million GrabShare rides in 2 months. GrabShare is essentially a pooling product where you pick up a passenger and pick up a second passenger who's going on the same direction. And then you drop off either the passenger A or passenger B first, depending who is nearer. Well, just imagine if you and your neighbor happens to travel to the same office every day. And if you and your neighbor drive to work every day, there's 2 cars going on the same route every day. Imagine able to combine that 2 of you into 1 car, and you have 1 car less on the road. And that's what GrabShare is trying to do. Obviously, we need a better algorithm that can match not just you and your neighbor, but you and your neighbor who's five houses down the street, or a neighbor who's going to a building probably 2 blocks away, not the same building. So all this requires data and good algorithm. The few advantages to GrabShare. Well, there's many benefits. One is obviously what I said, there's less car on the roads. On the passenger side, the passenger A and passenger B today, when they use GrabShare, actually reduce their costs by quite a bit, at least 30% they'll save. So passenger will save costs by using GrabShares as well. On the driver side, because now the driver is carrying 2 passengers instead of 1, the driver is able to earn more as well. So GrabShare is a product that benefits not just the road users, the passengers, as well as the drivers. At Grab, we are very proud of what we stand for. One of the things that that's something we're very focused on is about providing local solution to local problems. My boss, Anthony Tan, always say, we over execute. We make sure we, first of all, innovate at the right time and with the right solution, and then you come up with a good execution strategy to make sure you execute your strategy well. Every day at Grab, we actually analyze tons of data. When I say ton, it's 5 terabytes of data on a daily basis. The amount of data that we gather allows us to analyze the data, knowing where the passengers travel, where they're picking up, where they're dropping off, when certain routes are congested, when certain routes may flood during a rainy season. And analyzing data is not just on the back end. We also do that on a live basis. Imagine right now if half of Bangkok is raining right now, we can actually tell immediately which part of Bangkok is raining, which part of Bangkok is short of cars, which part of Bangkok is short of drivers, and we can then concentrate, put our drivers, our cars in those areas. Last year, Grab partnered with Open Traffic. So Open Traffic is part of a platform that is World Bank organizes. Essentially, we collaborate with World Bank to provide our data to World Bank free of cost, so that World Bank is able to analyze which part of the city, which part of a village, or which part of a town is most susceptible to traffic. Essentially, we use the GPS data that we collect on a daily basis. Our cars, our drivers, whenever they travel, they have GPS information. And those information provide then the data to us, which we pass to World Bank. And imagine that those data can then be passed on to many other parties, including hospitals, emergency services, that can then tell which are the best route to take. I will spend a few more minutes on Open Traffic partnership. So essentially, how it works is the collection of data is from Grab using the GPS data. And then the data is being analyzed at the back end. The travel speed, how fast you travel, where it's congested. And then with those data, it's passed on to the government to use. Right now, we have partnership with the government of Malaysia and government of Philippines. And we continue to want to partner with other governments in Southeast Asia as we get more and more data. Another example of traffic. Manila traffic is as bad as Bangkok. It's a $58 million a day problem. And using our data that we shared with World Bank, we came up with some interesting data. We found that the best time to travel is on Monday morning at 4 a.m. Well, if you're able to wake up at 4 a.m., the best time to travel. The worst time to travel is actually on Wednesday, 7 p.m. The maximum speed, on average, is about 30 plus in Philippines, and it's about 55 in Singapore. The most dangerous intersection is actually at the EDSA. EDSA is one of the most, it's almost the backbone of Manila. And if you party, which days are most dangerous to do so. So these are interesting data that we continue to provide to the government of Southeast Asia, partner with them, and so that they can improve the traffic condition in the cities. So where we are. At Grab, we continue to push the boundary. At Grab, we continue to find ways to increase the efficiency of travel. We all continue to find ways to provide more convenient and comfortable services to our customers and increase the earnings of our partner drivers. And we continue to use many things, including infrastructure that is mostly in the cloud system and compatible to many of the existing system out there. One of the things that we did last year was to partner with the company called Nutonomy, where Nutonomy is a self-driving car. It's a research company right now, and we actually partner with them in Singapore. And it's actually the first time that a passenger can book a self-driving vehicle on Grab. It's limited to a certain area, but there's a research center area that a passenger can book and actually get on a self-driving vehicle. So, where we are, I think going forward, ride-hailing will continue to be important for Thailand and important for Southeast Asia. At Grab, we think a lot of the things that we are looking at, a lot of the future that we're seeing today, we're talking about autonomous vehicle, we're talking about electrical vehicle, we're talking about flying cars and drones. A lot of things are already being developed. A lot of things are already, is out there. It's just not being in the mass market yet. If you look at how Tesla has built a huge plant in the US and to produce battery, essentially reduce the cost of the battery, car-operated batteries. And that will actually increase the ownership, reduce the cost of ownership for most passengers, for most drivers. So this is where we think we'll go. Ride-hailing will continue to be important, where you want to reduce the number of vehicles on the street, improve the life of the people traveling, and improve the life of our drivers. So I joined Grab about 2.5 years ago, and since then there's been a really interesting ride. Every day is different. Every day is fun. I know out there there are young, upcoming startup, people who are already in startup, people who are thinking about doing a startup, people who are thinking about joining a startup. I think my advice to you is very simple. Ask yourself what problems you're trying to solve with your products and services. Ask yourself what jobs your product and services is trying to do. And then craft your strategy and business model accordingly, and your customers will come. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Grab.
อเสียงปรบมือให้กับคุณวีแทงยีนะครับณโอกาสนี้ครับผมขอเรียนเชิญคุณกัสมากองสมัครผู้อำนวยการฝ่ายนโยบายและยุทธศาสตร์ของสำนักงานส่งเสริมเศรษฐกิจดิจิทัลให้เกียรติขึ้นมอบของที่ระลึกนะครับให้กับคุณวีแทงยีนะครับผู้อำนวยการ Grab ประเทศไทยครับสำหรับสปีชเมื่อสักครู่นี้นะครับน่าสนใจทีเดียวครับ